Many people find themselves trapped in a cycle of attracting the broken, the chaotic, or the emotionally unavailable. They make it a personal mission to heal these individuals, pouring every ounce of energy into the effort. You might tell yourself this comes from a place of deep empathy, that this is what unconditional love looks like. You swallow your anger and silence your own needs just to keep the other person afloat. But as the months pass, the person you are trying to save remains exactly the same, while you are left with paralyzing anxiety and a suffocating tightness in your chest. Your body is keeping a score that your mind is trying to ignore. This dynamic functions as a form of emotional imprisonment. By focusing entirely on their restoration, you are forced into a state of chronic self-abandonment. You think you are the architect of this rescue, but you are actually bleeding out in an ocean of sharks, caught in a script you didn't even write. You aren't consciously choosing to sacrifice yourself. You're experiencing a loss of agency. An ancient psychological force has taken up residence in your neural pathways. It drives your life decisions without your permission, overriding your logic and your survival instincts. To break this cycle, we have to look past standard dating advice and diagnose the unconscious mechanics that are forcing you to repeat these behaviors. Carl Jung identified a layer of the mind called the collective unconscious, a deep, invisible ocean of shared human experience. This space is populated by archetypes, highly active ancestral patterns of behavior and emotion that can dominate human consciousness. Jung viewed these not as literary metaphors, but as autonomous psychic structures. When an archetype becomes dominant, it takes the wheel of your psyche. It begins to drive your life without asking for your consent. If you feel compelled to save people even as they destroy you, you are living under the command of the hero archetype. This activated internal script makes your relationships feel like a pre-written movie. No matter how much you try to change the outcome, the plot remains the same. You change the name and face, but the pattern is identical. You cast a new actor as the villain in an unconscious script. This raises a question. Why do you have such a fundamental need to play the hero? In many cases, early childhood conditioning teaches a specific lie, that love is a reward for being useful. You learned that to be safe, you had to be accommodating. Jung observed that our relationships act as mirrors to our own unconscious. People who fear rejection are often trapped in the archetype of the wounded child. You are taking your own unhealed childhood wounds and projecting them onto the toxic partner. The desperate attempt to fix them is an attempt to save the abandoned, neglected parts of your own self. What part of your own soul do you give away every time you beg for their affection? To break this cycle, you must stop seeking outside for what is missing inside. As long as you look to others for your own completion, you will be controlled by their presence. This requires the process of individuation, taking back your psychic projections. You have to realize that you aren't attached to the person for who they are, but for what they represent in your internal world. Jung taught that you must integrate these hidden parts instead of projecting them outward. What you resist persists, but what you accept transforms. Severing a toxic tie hurts because you are burying the expectations, the fantasies, and the idealized hopes that never actually materialized. This pain marks the moment the mind begins to reconnect with its center. When you stop chasing those who refuse to see you, the illusion shatters. You cannot heal someone who is committed to being broken, but you can rescue yourself. You stop begging for crumbs of validation and return to inhabit your own space and your own truth. Head down to the comments and tell me, what is the one relationship or habit you need to let go of today to set yourself free? Write it as a contract to yourself.